Picking up some free pallets to start splitting firewood. So it's time to start splitting wood for this winter. I went and picked up 2, 4, 6, 8, 20 plus pallets free. And my goal is to have this whole thing stacked with split wood before this winter. So it's already dead standing ash trees from that big tree job that I did. So I'm going to primarily heat with wood this year, I'm hoping. Last year I went through 4 cords. This year I'm anticipating probably 6 cords if we have average temperature winter. So now I got to make this into a more of a bins, at least at that end. I have to make it where the wood won't fall off. I can stack it up. So I'm going to attach some pallets at the end to make a nice clean looking wall. And I will probably come halfway through or a third of the way through and make another wall. So there'll be 2 or 3 or 4 separate bins basically in here. So let's get started. Broke the tip off. So here's what I have for firewood bins. First one on the right here is a 7 foot by 7 foot. Next one is a 7 by 12. Next one is a 7 by 12. If I stack these 4 feet high all the way across, nice and tight, this should give me 6.78 cords. Now here's the way I did that. All right, I did it on the pallet here. One cord is 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot tightly stacked, gives you 128 cubic feet. My 7 by 7 by 4 foot high, once I stack it 4 foot high, will give me 196 cubic feet. I have 2 bins that are 7 foot by 12 foot by stack it 4 feet high, gives me 336 cubic feet. I have 2 of them, so that gives me a grand total of whatever, 600, 700, whatever the math is. Add 2 of these and 1 of those together, that gives me 868 cubic feet. So if I take 868 cubic feet, divide it by 128 cubic feet, which is 1 cord, that gives me 6.78 cords. So if I do it 3.5 feet, then I'll have 6 cords. So, but I can stack it a lot higher because I have them braced. So we'll see. So that's on this week's agenda, is depending on the weather, we're gonna start splitting and stacking wood. So here's a plan for doing firewood. I have my mini excavator here. I'm gonna put this smaller bucket on, and I am going to, all my logs are roughly 6 foot long, roughly, except for these little ones here. So if I do cut them in 4 pieces each, if they're 6 foot long, that's gonna be approximately 18 inches, which is perfect for my stove. My stove can actually take 22-inch logs. So 18-inch logs I'm aiming for. I'll take them with the excavator, 1 at a time, 2 at a time, whatever, and I will bring them. See, so I definitely have quite a bit. It's all dead standing ash, 90% of it. And then what I'll do is I'll bring it around, and it's right around the corner here. I'll make a pile over here, right on the back driveway. The log splitter is going to be back there, and I will cut them with a chainsaw here into 18-inch logs and put them on the splitter and split them down at that end, fill that bin up first, then I'll work on the second bin, and then any miscellaneous scrap pieces, like for the campfire, or just chunk wood, I'm just going to put on this end one. So that's going to be the plan. Let's see if it works that way. What's up, guys? All right, so today I'm going to move that pile of firewood, or soon to be firewood, in the back where I made my firewood bins. So that way I have some firewood to split over the next couple days. So I moved the trailer out of the way. I got the excavator. I'm gonna, I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you, but I have a small hydraulic leak that I just troubleshot. So once I take it apart, the machine's gonna be out of commission for a couple days. So I don't wanna not have any work to do for those couple days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully lower the machine back down. It's just a small hydraulic drip coming out of a small line that's auxiliary. So I'm going to put the machine back together temporarily, just so I can move all these logs into the back, and then that way they're good to go. Then I'll bring the machine back out, the excavator back out here, and get it ready to do the repairs probably tomorrow. I'll start those. So, but I want to do some firewood. So we're going to concentrate on getting all that dead ash tree in the back. Okay, so I got a few of the parts off the machine. They're just pans and protection plates. So I got the metal floor out. I'm just gonna set that in. Here's the metal floor. If you're wondering what this is a high speed, low speed for your heel. If you wanna, when you're traveling, put your heel down, makes it dry faster, slower. So I'm just gonna set this in there. I'm not gonna bolt it. This is more so I don't break another line putting my foot on it. So that sits nicely right on there. I have the 4 bolts in the belly pan. The belly pan's off, but I have the 4 bolts up in there. So I'm gonna crawl underneath, grab those 4 bolts out of there so we do not lose them, and I'll put them on my little magnetic tray. So the machine's been leaking for probably about 2 weeks now. Slow leak. So I do believe it's going to be one of the auxiliary lines. It's not a main hydraulic line. It's definitely not a blasting out pressure. So I just want to move a couple of those logs, like I said. So I am going to move the machine, switch the buckets, put the small bucket on there, and that way I can use the grapple also, grab the logs, truck them in back. So I got it up right now on ramps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out this grading bucket to my 12-inch trenching bucket. It's a lot better to use when I have the thumb. So in order to do that, for this Caterpillar quick disconnect, take your 19mm wrench. There's a bolt up on the top. Loosen the bolt. What that does is it lifts up a wedge that wedges the bucket in there. Second thing is taking your open end wrench, grab that red dog right here, click it forward. Now the bucket is free to fall off. So now what I'll do is I'll start the machine up, I'll put the bucket down on the ground, I'll uncurl, the bucket will fall off, I'll grab the new one, hook it, and reverse that. Let's watch. So I got all that, those two little piles moved. There were two piles over there, put them in the driveway, swung them this way. So now I have a little bit of firewood to split for tomorrow, tonight or tomorrow. I gotta start cutting. I got the two log splitters. I'm only gonna use the main one, the Phoenix for now, I do believe. Although I may have some big rounds. That other one goes vertical, the Husky, the old Husky that I picked up used. So that does go vertical, so I may use that to cut some of these the bigger nuggets once I cut them into 18-inch logs. So I have some firewood to keep me busy. Now, let's go wash the excavator again because I still got to fix that leak. So as you can see, it had a few little oil drops on the driveway. So, but I even put the trailer back. Oop, guess I dragged the trailer jack a little bit. I got to fix that. But once I'm done with the firewood that I already moved, then I'll start going through this pile. And that's a lot of big logs. So let's get that excavator washed off again. So I got the machine rinsed off again. I got it up on the ramps. Take this off so it dries. In there. The leak's down in that corner, but all those top lines got to come off. So I'm gonna let it sit there. I'll work on it for tomorrow. Like I said, I just rinsed it all off again. Got some of the dirt off from moving the firewood. And the leak is basically right inside that hole behind that grease fitting. So it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one to get to. I'm sure once I open it all up, get all that lines out of the way, it'll be a lot easier, but we'll see. And I'm sure I'll find some other problems in there. So I already know I gotta order a new line for here. So I might just take this line off and bring it with me when I do that one over there. So that's it for today.